The massive ships appeared without warning, their obsidian hulls blotting out the sun over every major city on Earth. The Kraxan Empire had arrived, expecting another routine conquest for their ever-expanding dominion. They had subjugated 1,000 worlds before Earth, and their confidence bordered on arrogance as they prepared their first strike. Admiral Zarkax stood on the bridge of the flagship Inevitable Victory, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming under the artificial lights. "Begin the standard conquest protocol," he commanded, his secondary hearts beating with the familiar rhythm of impending victory. "Deploy the nerve disruptors first. Let's make this quick and clean." On Earth, Director Jennifer Hassan of the Global Defense Initiative stared at the satellite feeds with growing dread. The alien ships hung motionless, like dark stars against the blue sky. "What are they waiting for?" she muttered, surrounded by screens showing real-time data from every corner of the globe. The answer came in a wave of invisible energy that swept across the planet's surface. The Kraxan's nerve disruptors were designed to incapacitate any carbon-based life form, leaving infrastructure intact for the victors. It had worked flawlessly on every world they'd conquered. Except this time, nothing happened. In New Delhi, pedestrians looked up at the ships and continued their commutes. In Sao Paulo, football matches continued uninterrupted. In Tokyo, subway trains kept running on schedule. The only indication that anything had happened was a slight tingling sensation that most humans dismissed as static electricity. Admiral Zarkax's crystalline structure flickered with confusion as reports flooded in. "Impossible," he hissed, his voice crackling with harmonics of disbelief. "Increase the power. Full spectrum deployment." The second wave hit Earth with 10 times the force of the first. The Kraxan's energy weapons were capable of disrupting neural pathways across entire continents. Yet again, humanity stood unaffected. In underground facilities across the globe, scientists worked feverishly to understand what was happening. Dr. Rashid Patel, leading the research team at the Quantum Defense Laboratory in Geneva, made the breakthrough first. "Their weapons," he explained to Director Hassan via secure channel, "they're designed to work on standard neural pathways. But human neurons have something unique, mutations from thousands of years of adaptation to Earth-specific conditions." The discovery spread through military channels like wildfire. Humanity's harsh evolutionary history had inadvertently created the perfect defense against the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. Years of exposure to natural radiation, environmental toxins, and countless pathogens had forced human biology to develop extraordinary resilience. The Kraxan Empire's third attack came in the form of biological weapons, viruses and bacteria engineered to rewrite genetic codes. But human immune systems, battle-hardened by millennia of fighting earthly diseases, treated these alien pathogens like any other invasion. Some people got mild fevers. Most didn't notice anything at all. Director Hassan organized a global conference of military leaders and scientists. "We have an advantage they never expected," she declared to the assembled faces on her screen. "They can't hurt us, but we can learn to hurt them. Every attack they launch gives us more data about their technology." Teams of engineers and physicists began analyzing the residual energy signatures from the Kraxan weapons. Lieutenant Commander James Okonjo, leading the African Union's Advanced Weapons Division, discovered that the alien energy weapons left traceable patterns in the atmosphere. These patterns could be reversed, turning the Kraxan's own technology against them. As the alien empire launched increasingly desperate attacks, humanity's understanding grew. The invasion that was meant to last days stretched into weeks. The Kraxan's perfect record of conquests faced its first blemish, and their carefully constructed image of invincibility began to crack. Admiral Zarkax received orders from the Imperial Council to escalate the conflict. "Deploy the planet crackers," the message read. "If we cannot have Earth, no one will." But as his crews prepared their most devastating weapons, something unprecedented happened. The humans struck back. Modified satellite arrays, hastily reconfigured based on captured Kraxan technology, fired concentrated bursts of Earth's unique radiation signature at the alien ships. The results were spectacular. Cracks in technology, designed to harness and control energy, had no defense against the chaotic, evolved resilience of Earth's natural radiation. The first alien ship fell from the sky over the Pacific Ocean, its systems completely scrambled by the human counterattack. Admiral Zarkax watched in horror as his perfect invasion plan crumbled. The species that was meant to be their easiest conquest was becoming their worst nightmare. As the first part of the conflict drew to a close, humanity stood not only undefeated but stronger. The Kraxan Empire had inadvertently awakened something they never expected to find on this seemingly insignificant planet, a species that their weapons couldn't harm, and whose potential for adaptation they had grossly underestimated. The war for Earth was just beginning, and humanity's greatest advantage wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their ability to survive, adapt, and turn their adversaries' strength against them. The Kraxan Empire was about to learn why Earth's history was filled with species that had evolved, adapted, and survived against all odds. Humanity wasn't just another conquest, they were the Empire's worst nightmare. As Earth's defenders celebrated their initial success against the Kraxan invasion, a more profound revelation was unfolding in laboratories across the globe. Dr. Isabella Reyes, working from a converted bunker beneath the Andes Mountains, made a startling discovery that would change humanity's understanding of their own capabilities. Our cells don't just resist their weapons, she explained to a room full of international scientists connected via secure quantum channels. They're actually getting stronger with each exposure. It's as if our entire evolutionary history prepared us for this moment. In the weeks following the first failed Kraxan attacks, humans worldwide began reporting strange developments. Workers in areas hit hardest by the alien weapons displayed increased strength and stamina. Children born to parents exposed to the Kraxan's biological agents showed signs of accelerated healing. The Kraxan Empire, refusing to accept defeat, launched a new campaign. This time, they targeted Earth's environment itself, releasing terraforming agents designed to make the planet's atmosphere more like their conquered worlds. But Earth's biosphere, shaped by billions of years of chaos and change, proved remarkably adaptable. Commander Daiki Tanaka, monitoring atmospheric changes from Japan's Mount Fuji research station, noticed something extraordinary. The terraforming agents are being broken down by our planet's existing bacteria, he reported. Earth's microscopic life is consuming their weapons and using them as fuel. Underground, a global resistance network took shape. Former rivals became allies, sharing resources and knowledge. In hidden facilities, researchers worked to understand and harness humanity's newfound strengths. The Russians shared their cold weather adaptation studies, while Australian scientists contributed their research on surviving in extreme conditions. Admiral Zarkax, growing increasingly desperate, ordered his forces to capture human subjects for study. But each attempted abduction ended in failure. The Kraxan's supposedly advanced containment fields couldn't hold humans for long, their bodies somehow adapted to and disrupted the alien technology. Major Priya Varma, leading India's Special Adaptation Division, developed the first human-made version of Kraxan technology. By studying the way human cells naturally disrupted alien energy fields, her team created devices that could generate similar effects. "We're not just immune," she announced. "We're their perfect counterweapon." The Kraxan Empire's frustration turned to fear as they realized the full implications of their failure. Their weapons weren't just ineffective, they were making humanity stronger. Each attack provided humans with more data, more exposure, and more opportunities to adapt. In orbit, the alien fleet began showing signs of internal conflict. Some ships attempted to break formation and retreat, while others pressed for more aggressive action. The empire that had never known defeat was fracturing under the strain of their first real challenge. Director Hassan, coordinating Earth's defense efforts, received an unexpected transmission from a Kraxan scientist named Kelthor. "Your species," the alien explained through a hastily constructed translation matrix, "you're not just different. You're impossible. Every weapon we have was designed to work on predictable, stable life forms. But you thrive on chaos. The truth began to emerge: humanity's greatest weakness, their susceptibility to mutation and change, had become their greatest strength. Eons of surviving on a planet that constantly tried to kill them had created a species that could adapt to anything, even weapons designed to be universally lethal. Lieutenant Commander Okonjo's weapons division made another breakthrough. By analyzing the patterns of human adaptation to cracks in technology, they developed a way to broadcast these characteristics as energy waves. The first test of this system caused an entire alien squadron to retreat in disarray, their technology disrupted by the mere echo of human resilience. As the second phase of the war drew to a close, humanity wasn't just surviving, they were evolving. The Kraxan Empire had unwittingly initiated a transformation they couldn't control or understand. Earth's defenders were becoming something new, something that had never existed in the galaxy before, a species that grew stronger from attempts to destroy it. The Kraxan Empire faced a terrible realization. They hadn't just failed to conquer Earth, they had awakened a force they couldn't comprehend. As their fleet regrouped for what would become the next phase of the conflict, one question echoed through their crystalline communication networks: what had they unleashed upon the galaxy? The tables had turned. 3 months into what should have been a routine conquest, the mighty Kraxan Empire found itself in an unprecedented position. Retreat was becoming their only option. But humanity wasn't content to simply defend anymore, they were ready to strike back. Within the transformed ruins of CERN, now the Earth Defense Force's primary research facility, Dr. Reyes and her international team made a breakthrough that would change the course of the war. They had successfully merged human DNA with salvaged Kraxan technology, creating a hybrid energy field that could not only block alien attacks but redirect them. The key was in our cellular memory, Dr. Reyes explained to the Global Defense Council. Every adaptation our species has ever made is coded into our genes. We've just learned to access it consciously. The first demonstration of this new technology came during what would later be known as the Battle of the Sahara. When Kraxan forces launched a massive assault on Earth's largest solar energy farms, they encountered something entirely new. The human defenders, equipped with bioresonance shields, didn't just survive the attack, they absorbed it. General Khadija Omar, commanding the United African Defense Forces, led the counteroffensive. "Return fire," she ordered, and for the first time, human weapons penetrated Kraxan defenses as if they weren't there. The alien ships, their crystalline hulls designed to deflect energy weapons, shattered under the hybrid assault. In orbit, Admiral Zarkax watched in horror as his fleet's formations broke apart. "Impossible," he transmitted to the Imperial Council. "They're not just resistant anymore. They're wielding our own power against us, but in ways we never conceived possible." The Kraxan Empire's response was to unleash their doomsday weapon, the Reality Shaper, a device capable of altering the fundamental laws of physics within a localized space. They deployed it over London, expecting to turn the city into a monument to their power. Instead, they witnessed another miracle. Dr. Marcus Blackwood, leading the British Science Division, had anticipated such an attack. His team had developed what they called quantum anchors, devices that used humanity's unique cellular stability to maintain normal spacetime even under reality warping conditions. London didn't just survive, it became a beacon of hope for the entire planet. The effect on Kraxan morale was devastating. Their most powerful weapons weren't just failing, they were being transformed into tools for humanity's advancement. Each failed attack provided Earth scientists with new data, new technology, and new opportunities for adaptation. In the skies over Brazil, the first human-built spacecraft incorporating hybrid technology made its debut. The HSS Resilient, commanded by Captain Ana Rodriguez, demonstrated capabilities that shocked even its creators. It could phase through Kraxan energy barriers, predict and counter alien attack patterns, and heal damage to its hull almost instantly. "We're not just fighting back," Captain Rodriguez reported after the ship's first successful engagement. "We're rewriting the rules of what's possible." The Kraxan Empire's rigid hierarchy began to crumble. Lower-ranking officers, seeing the futility of continuing the invasion, started questioning orders. Some even attempted to communicate with Earth, seeking to understand how a supposedly primitive species had overcome their superior technology. Director Hassan received multiple surrender requests from individual Kraxan ships. Each defector brought valuable intelligence about the Empire's weaknesses that humanity's adaptive technology was perfectly suited to exploit. Lieutenant Commander Okonjo's weapons division made another breakthrough. They discovered that human emotions, particularly determination and hope, could be channeled through the hybrid technology to create weapons that the Kraxan couldn't predict or counter. The aliens' logical, crystalline minds couldn't comprehend or defend against attacks driven by human willpower. As the third phase of the war concluded, humanity had achieved what no other species in the galaxy had managed. They had not only resisted the Kraxan Empire but had begun to push them back. Earth's defenders had evolved from survivors to warriors, from victims to victors. The Kraxan Imperial Council faced a crisis. Their invasion force, once the pride of their civilization, was being systematically dismantled by a species that grew stronger with each defeat. As reports of human victories spread through their empire, other conquered species began to take notice. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity was leading the charge. The truth behind humanity's inexplicable resistance began to emerge in an unlikely place, beneath the ice sheets of Antarctica. Dr. Reyes and her team, analyzing data from deep core samples, discovered something that would reshape humanity's understanding of their place in the cosmos. Earth's unique radiation signature, she announced to a stunned Global Defense Council, it's not just background noise. It's a deliberate pattern, encoded into the planet's very structure. Someone, or something, designed our world to create beings like us. The revelation coincided with a startling development in the war. The Kraxan's most sophisticated surveillance systems had detected an energy pattern emanating from Earth's core, a pattern that matched ancient warnings in their archaeological records about a force that could unravel their empire. Admiral Zarkax, now fighting for his survival rather than victory, transmitted an emergency message to the Imperial Council: the humans are not an accident. They are the inheritors of something far older and more powerful than our civilization. We have awakened exactly what the ancient warnings predicted. In orbit, the remaining Kraxan fleet witnessed an extraordinary phenomenon. Earth's magnetic field, interacting with humanity's evolved defense systems, began generating waves of energy that spread through space. These waves carried with them the code for resistance, a blueprint for fighting back against the Empire's supposedly invincible weapons. Professor Yuki Nakamura, monitoring deep space communications from Japan's Quantum Observatory, detected something unprecedented: other alien civilizations were receiving these waves. Species long subjugated by the Kraxan Empire were beginning to exhibit signs of developing similar resistances. Earth isn't just defending itself, Professor Nakamura reported. It's becoming a beacon of liberation for the entire galaxy. The Kraxan Empire faced its worst nightmare: their carefully constructed dominion was beginning to unravel. On 1,000 worlds, conquered species were watching humanity's success with growing hope. The Empire's weapons, once the source of their absolute power, were becoming increasingly ineffective across their entire domain. Director Hassan received an unexpected transmission from a coalition of rebel alien species. Their message was simple: you have shown us the way. The time for revolution has come. In the Kraxan Imperial Palace, crisis gripped the ruling council. Their society, built on the assumption of technological superiority, was facing an existential threat. Some counselors advocated for total withdrawal from Earth and its sphere of influence. Others called for deploying weapons that would destroy entire star systems. But it was too late. Humanity had not only learned to resist their weapons, they had begun to understand the very nature of their immunity. Dr. Marcus Blackwood's team made another breakthrough: the ability to artificially replicate Earth's unique radiation signature. We can share our resistance with others, he explained. We can help other species develop the same adaptations that saved us. Lieutenant Commander Okonjo's weapons division went further, developing what they called liberation beacons, devices that could broadcast Earth's defensive patterns across vast distances of space. The first test of these beacons resulted in a cascade of rebellions across the nearest Kraxan-controlled systems. The Empire's response was swift but futile. Their attempts to suppress the growing resistance only spread Earth's influence faster. Every act of aggression against their subjects now carried the risk of creating new immune populations. As the fourth phase of the conflict drew to a close, humanity found itself at the center of a galactic revolution. Earth had become more than just a fortress of resistance, it was now the source of hope for countless enslaved civilizations. The Kraxan Empire's dominance was crumbling, not through military defeat, but through the spread of something they couldn't control, the ability to resist. Their weapons, once the ultimate expression of their power, had become symbols of their impending downfall. In the depths of space, a new order was taking shape. Humanity, once considered an insignificant species on a backwater planet, had become the key to unlocking freedom for the entire galaxy. The ancient pattern buried in Earth's core had done more than protect humanity, it had prepared them to become the galaxy's liberators. The fall of the Kraxan Empire happened not with a devastating final battle, but with a wave of light that spread across the galaxy. Earth, once their intended conquest, had become the epicenter of the greatest revolution the cosmos had ever witnessed. From their command center in Geneva, Director Hassan and her team watched as millennia of imperial dominance unraveled in a matter of weeks. The liberation beacons, now stationed throughout conquered systems, had achieved what countless rebellions could not, they had given the subjugated species the means to free themselves. "We're receiving broadcasts from over 10,000 worlds," Professor Nakamura reported, his quantum communications array overwhelmed with messages of newfound freedom. "The pattern is spreading faster than we anticipated. Entire sectors are declaring independence." The Kraxan Imperial Palace, their seat of power for countless generations, faced an unprecedented crisis. Their crystalline architecture, once a symbol of unchanging strength, began to crack under the weight of revolution. The Imperial Council, trapped in their own fortress by riots, finally faced the truth they had denied: their era was over. Dr. Reyes, working with a coalition of scientists from newly liberated worlds, made a discovery that explained everything. Earth wasn't an accident, she revealed to an interstellar conference. "We were part of an ancient plan. The radiation pattern in our planet's core, it's artificial. Someone seeded our world with the potential to evolve beings capable of breaking the cycle of conquest." The revelation sparked a new understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos. They weren't just random survivors, they were the culmination of eons of careful preparation. The mysterious architects of Earth's unique properties had created the perfect counter to imperial domination. In orbit above their homeworld, the last remnants of the Kraxan fleet faced a choice. Admiral Zarkax, his crystalline form showing signs of adaptation, a change that would have been unthinkable months ago, made an unprecedented decision. "We surrender," he transmitted to Earth's Defense Command. "But more than that, we wish to learn. Your species has shown us something we never understood, the strength that comes from change." The transition was not simple. Centuries of imperial rule had left deep scars across the galaxy. But humanity, led by the newly formed Earth Coalition, took on a new role, not conquerors, not even liberators, but teachers. Captain Rodriguez, commanding a fleet of hybrid ships that merged human adaptability with advanced alien technology, established the first interstellar exchange program. "We're not here to rule," she announced to representatives from 1,000 worlds. "We're here to share what we've learned about resistance, adaptation, and freedom." The Kraxan themselves began to change. Their rigid, crystalline bodies, exposed to Earth's influence, started showing signs of flexibility in adaptation. It was a painful process for their species, but those who embraced it discovered new potential they never knew they possessed. Lieutenant Commander Okonjo's final project became the cornerstone of the new galactic order. The Defense Innovation Center, built in orbit around Earth, became a gathering place for species from across the cosmos to study and understand the power of adaptation. The greatest weapon against oppression, he taught his first class of multi-species students, is not force, but the ability to change, to adapt, to become something your oppressors cannot control. As the dust settled on the revolution, Earth found itself at the heart of a new galactic community. The old hierarchies of technological superiority gave way to a network of cultures sharing their unique strengths. The pattern that had protected humanity now served as the foundation for a new kind of civilization, one built on adaptation rather than domination. In the ruins of the Kraxan Imperial Palace, now transformed into the Galactic Museum of Liberation, Director Hassan met with representatives from across the cosmos to sign the Treaty of Universal Rights. The document enshrined not just freedom, but the right of all species to develop their own path of adaptation and growth. The final irony wasn't lost on anyone. The Kraxan Empire's attempt to conquer Earth had instead seeded the galaxy with the very thing they feared most, change. Humanity's gift to the cosmos wasn't just resistance to weapons, but the understanding that true strength comes from embracing transformation. As the new era dawned, Earth's night sky blazed with the lights of visiting ships from across the galaxy. Each one carried beings coming to learn, to share, and to understand the power that had ended an empire, the power of adaptation, of resilience, and of the unquenchable spirit of change that humanity had awakened in the cosmos. The age of empires was over. The age of adaptation had begun.